Hey guys, this is John, your host on Mgtow is Freedom. As you guys know, or maybe you didn't now, but now you will, I live in a fifth wheel trailer. Right? I live a very minimalist lifestyle. My life now consists of taking care of me and half the time my sons for the next 2 years, and then I'm done with paternal duties. No more daddy, right? But what is my life? How much simpler is it as Mgtow? You know, when we grow up, right? We're grow up and we're taught. You're going to grow up, you're going to get a job, you're going to get a wife, you're going to have kids, you're going to buy a house, you're going to buy a car, you're going to buy another car, you're going to buy a vacation home, you're going to do this and that. It's all built into the program, right? You're told that's what you need to buy. That is what happiness is. That's what's expected of you as a man. And so that's all put in the mix, and it's implanted in your head. It's indoctrinated in you. The education system, the multimedia system from movies to magazines, even the internet. Mortgage this and mortgage that and buy a house. You have to get her and then get her a car. Before you know it, you're up to here, right? With debt, with financial burden. And subconsciously, because you've been told that's what it is, you build a plan around that. You build a plan around that idea of having a house and a car and another car and a wife and paying for all of that. And you're told that by the time your kids get to age 18, you're going to have to pay for their educations, right? And that's a responsibility. If your kids are intelligent and you have the means, you fork out that. 25 grand a year. Another $100,000 to $200,000, depending on the education and the school. You hear those kind of numbers and you go, I need a fucking drink, right? Just take a little sip of that. Planning your life as a man is typically done and built around in your head and your mind on the normal model, the blue pill model, if you wish. And so you see ahead of yourself nothing but work as a man. You're going to be buried in work, consumed with work. You know, you're thinking, get married, have kids, nose to the grindstone for 20 fucking years. You'll have no life. And I've got to tell you, that's the way it works in the blue pill model. Getting married, having kids, right? 2.5 kids, house in the suburbs, all that shit. Right? I thought I was pretty clever. I developed a system so that I could still have those 2 kids and be retired by 40. What I didn't factor in was that no matter how good I was going to have all of that stolen from me. Thank you, mother-in-law, who's an ex-mother-in-law, right, for stealing all of my rental houses. Thank you very much, wench. Okay, but enough said. You can plan. You can execute and you can get out of that. But when you examine the Mgtow lifestyle, first you start with, I don't hear any screeching bitches, no chainsaws, right? I don't hear any lawnmower engines running and just screaming in my ear, right? Do this, do that. Right? You start with no woman. And you say, well, if I don't have a woman, then do I have to have an extra car? Will I have the expense of kids? You start examining the Mgtow lifestyle, not from the same perspective of needing a 2,000 square foot house, a 3,000 square foot house, living in the city in some expensive suburb, trying to impress your friends and her friends, your family, her family, co-workers, bosses. When you're Mgtow, you don't have to play that game, because as a man going your own way, you get to decide how you live. No longer, if you reject the model of having a wife, when you reject that model, what are you left with? A completely open plan. I live in this fifth wheel here, and it's, like I said, large enough. My kids live with me, my two sons, half the time. It's a 33-footer. I live like a king in that thing. I've got heating and air conditioning, microwave, oven, stove, refrigerator, freezer, bedroom, bath and a half, bunkhouse or bunk room. Got it all. Living room, office. And it's paid off. You can buy a used one of these for 10 grand. $10,000. Not $400,000. Not $800,000. You see the difference? You see the trade-off. If you're making $100,000 a year, you're going to pay on that $800,000 house for the full term of the mortgage. That's your life. And that's assuming that you're going to stay married and get to keep it. You know, many men, what is it? 3 out of 4 marriages end up in divorce? 4 out of 5? You're going to pay on that fucking thing for 15, 20, 25 years, and she's going to take it from you. Is that your fucking plan? Right. One of these, let's say you buy a really nice one, brand new, 50 grand. Buy a used one, 25, 15, 10. It's all up to you. You know, what are you willing to live in? Right? Do you need to rent a home for $1,500, $2,000, $2,500 a month just to rent a place? How about $1,500 for the apartment? $3,000 for a home if you don't want to buy. Who the fuck can afford that? You can rent an RV space at an RV park from as low as $400 a month and as high as $1,000. But it's still far, far less in those areas, right? Far less, always, than renting a house, because you're just renting a piece of pavement. So if you look at living expenses as part of your plan as a Mgtow, you're going to discover that your disposable income goes up. No longer do you have to consider her feelings and what she wants, because you've excused yourself from following the blue pill model of impressing your friends and your coworkers and her family. You don't have to do any of that anymore. The Mgtow lifestyle is one of comfort and relaxation, peace and tranquility, health, and just a lifestyle designed by you, for you. It's pure satisfaction. Got a little tent there. I keep my stuff in. I got some flowers here that I enjoy. Right? A little bit of water. That's it. That's enough responsibility for me. Got my house on wheels. Right? Got my pickup truck. Life is good. Now, let's take a look at the money. Living as a minimalist. Living as Mgtow. No longer do you have an $800,000 mortgage. And after you pay interest on that $800,000, let's just assume you got a really good rate. A really good rate, and you had an excellent down payment. By the time you get done paying off that house, if you can keep it and your marriage doesn't end in a flaming, crashing, wrecking, tumbling, chaotic divorce, you're going to pay $1 million for that $800,000 homes, right? $1 million minus a couple of these units, say $40,000, $50,000. You go through a few of them in that same 30-year lifespan. You saved over 95%. And you go, but John, if I bought that house, it has all kinds of equity in it. Well, sure it does, but you've had to pay out of pocket. Imagine having $950,000 cash. No longer do you have to wait to sell that house And it's all profit. It's all yours. And you save it as you go. You're not paying for a woman, not paying for her health insurance, not paying for her food, not paying for all of the crap that's associated, an extra car, all the maintenance. Think about what you save, what you're not putting money out. Now when we start to talk about, do you have to be diabolically intelligent and driven in order to make a couple $1 million before you're age 40? No. Now all you have to do is work at a leisurely pace. Your quality of life between age 20 and age 50 is improved vastly. Vastly improved. Because you're not slaving to pay off that $1 million house and those two $50,000 cars and those two kids that are going to cost you $300,000 to send to college. Not to mention all of the added expenses, their cars as teenagers, their food, their health insurance. Your time is yours. You go to work and you put in your 8, 10, 12-hour day, and then you go home, get yourself a stogie if you desire, get yourself your favorite beverage. Mine happens to be Scotch, single malt, thank you. You live your life. If you do the other way, go the blue pill way, get married. You'll wake up in the morning. Let's just assume you wake up day one, rested. You work all day, that 8, 10, 12-hour day. Then you come home and she gives you your half of the domestic chores. Plus, you need to find time to be dad. That is, spend quality time with your kids. Knowing them, understanding their lives, and that's a fun thing, but it takes time. At some point, she's going to say, where's my time? She wants her time. You get no time for yourself. Go mow the lawn, right? Got a swimming pool? Go clean the pool. Or pay someone else to do it, which costs you money. As Mgtow, you don't have any of that. You literally get to plan your life. Golf clubs? When you're married, it's hard to get time to go golfing. That set of clubs over there has many miles on it now. Right? Just about wore those puppies out playing. Because I have the time. I get to choose. The plan now benefits me. There's a big difference in the way my life goes now. Typically, you work from age 20 to age 65. What is that? 20, 65, 40 years. 20, 65, 45 years of working and slaving before you in the United States of America can collect your Social Security from the government. 45 years of working your ass off. And I'll tell you what, the people I know, the most successful people, typically still have a mortgage because they've had to pay for everything along the way. The cars, the vacations, right? The property, the rental properties, the extra vacation home or condominium. You're just paying all of that. Now, as Mgtow, you get to decide because you're not following that keep up with the Joneses, materialistic, do what the bitch says program. Now it's what does the man want? Because you're the man. You have the penis. You're the one that makes all the money. You get to make all the decisions and plan your own life. You can build a budget that can be followed. Right? You can live like a king and pay as if you're just barely getting by. You save all of that money. Now, what does that mean? It's just money. But rather than, take a minuscule vacation or none at all, which I did for years and years, no vacations, ever. Ever. F you, John, you don't get a vacation.